All right, guys, welcome back. Today we are looking at scripting, and this is where it gets practical. This is where we start to actually take a look at the wording about what you're actually going to say with your leads, with your prospects. So, I guess what I see a lot of with coaches in their messaging is that sometimes they just don't know what to say. They don't know what to say next. They don't know what questions to ask, or really how to guide the conversation towards how you can help this person. And scripting is essentially what to say, telling you what to say. Now, I'm gonna drill this home today, but it's important. Always use your situational awareness. And what do I mean by that? What I mean by that, if someone's already answered something or already told you something, then you wouldn't ask them the question again, right? Makes sense. Um, I like to say that messaging conversations is 50% art and 50% science. And in this instance, the science would be the script. It's like what to do, how to do it verbatim, right? And you can use the script verbatim. And sometimes you'll go off it, sometimes you'll change it around, understanding where this person's come from and what you've already talked about in comments or the relationship that you have with them. And then that the art part, the 50% art part, would be the fluidity of this, moving things around, changing things up, throwing in some things that they've already told you into the question to give context, stuff like that. It's a playing around with it. So we've got 50% science, the script word for word, and we've got 50% art. Being able to be fluid with that and change it around. So let's jump in. So as we looked about in the last lesson, the three things we want to discover: the situation and how that's affecting them, the vision and why that's important to them, and the gap and why they're not there now, right? Once we get those three things, guys, then we can look at how committed they are to this change or how important this is to them, if they want help with this, and if they do, we get to invite them to a call to see how we can possibly help. So I'm going to put the link in here below, and this script may change from time to time, but it's pretty much a proven system. Understanding, getting the first 3 points, and then numbers 4, 5, 6. If that ticks all the box, they are ready for a call, and you can set that up with them. So this scripting, this discovery process scripting, comes after the openers. Now I'm going to put in the openers into this document so you can sort of use this document as a plug and play for each opener, depending on where this person's come from. Is it from a buzz post? Is it from a friend request? Wherever. We go through those openers, and then we jump into this script, which is the discovery process and understanding the situation, see if it makes sense for a call. So this happens after openers or getting permission to ask questions. So now, it doesn't necessarily matter which of these three important pieces we ask first. But what you want to do is use situational awareness. If you've already been having a conversation with someone in a comment, they've been commenting on your post, for example, continue the situation. Continue finding more about their situation. If you haven't been engaging with this person and you haven't got an understanding of their situation yet, I suggest starting with a vision or obstacle. So if you have had a conversation going and you're already kind of talking about that situation, for example, they commented on your post and they're talking to you about their stubborn belly fat and blah, 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 blah. When you take the conversation to DM, you'll start here. You'll continue on with the situation and then move through the vision or an obstacle. If that's not the case, then you can either start with a goal or obstacle. So from an opener, either ask an obstacle question or a vision question, depending on context. So if, for example, you've sent them a DM or asked permission to ask questions, then go for a goal or obstacle. So you may have just put out a resource and said, who wants this guide to losing stubborn belly fat? And they're like, yes, please. Then you send it to them in DM and you say, mind if I ask 2 to 3 questions to see how I might be able to help? And they say yes. I would suggest starting with a vision or obstacle question. So what's your biggest struggle with your health right now? Or tell me about your goal, something like that. And if you're bringing a conversation over from comment where you've already been talking to someone in a group or for etc., I recommend continuing on with where the conversation has already left off. Cool. So here's a script, guys. Let's say that for this purpose, we're starting off with a situation, but once again, plug and play, depending on where they're at. Whatever it feels right to ask next, go with that, as long as we get the three. It doesn't matter what sequence, as long as we get those three things, then we can move to 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so once again, you've already got some situational awareness. This is if someone's come from a post. You mentioned that you've been XYZ. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? That's just continuing on from the conversation. So you've been talking about, once again, stubborn belly fat. You mentioned that you've been struggling with stubborn belly fat. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? They reply, okay, and how long has that been going on for? We're going deeper into the situation. We always want to go deeper to really uncover what the real problem is, the real pain point is. So that's why we continue to ask questions about the same thing, to go below the surface and get deeper and deeper and deeper, because that's where the gold is. If we stay surface level, guys, in our sales process, in the messaging, and in the sales call, if we stay surface level, most people won't buy, because people need to be connected to their pain, because they buy emotionally. So if we're just asking one question, saying surface level, and then moving on to the next thing, which I see a lot, and I used to do a lot, just continually move along the script and ask the next question, to move through it, to actually get somewhere, then that oftentimes has an adverse effect. We really need this person to get below the surface and get into their heart, into their emotions, before we move on. So how long has that been going on for? And then this is what we really want to find out, which is how is it affecting them? How is that affecting you? Has that had an impact on you? And then they open up, yes, because this and this and this, this and this and this and this and this and this. You could also interchange these questions. You could use either question before the other one and then ask it how long. But what we're understanding is we're stepping in deeper into the pain point. You could also follow up that a little bit more. Maybe you need to clarify things. What do you mean by that? Tell me more about that. There's no harm in going deeper. And generally, you can't go too deep in these conversations. Very rarely that you would go actually too deep, because basically what you want to do is just keep going until you feel that they've given you an answer that has emotion to it, an answer that's important to them. Keep going until you find something that's important to them or feels important, and then move on. You can also ask, they say, it's been impacting me this and this and this way. Okay, I see. And is there anything else? Well, yes, this and this and this. And now you've got it. Then you can move on to the vision. All right, that makes sense. So what are you looking to achieve with your health in the next few days or next 3 to 6 months? I mean, what's the goal? So, okay, that makes sense. You acknowledge what they say. So what are you looking to achieve with your health in the next 3 to 6 months? I mean, what's the goal? You can plug and play anything in that. So what are you looking to achieve with your weight in the next 3 to 6 months? Put in here what they've talked about, what's important to them. The weight, their fitness levels, just insert that in there. Now, the reason why we don't coach here, guys, and I see this a lot with coaches, and once again, I did this myself, trying to ease the pain. When someone tells you something that has emotion and pain to it, as humans, occasionally we've been sort of taught to quickly ease that pain, and that oftentimes does a disservice. If we try to ease what they're talking about right now and try to fix it by giving them a coaching answer, or this is what you can do, or really, it's going to do a disservice to them, because people make a change when they are connected to their emotion and are committed to do so, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially. Financially is generally a real key one. So what that means is when they've invested in themselves to get some help. So don't fix anything. You can empathize, you can relate, which I'll talk about a little bit more. I encourage you to acknowledge and relate. That's something, you're not alone there. Actually, I've been through something similar myself, and I overcome that. Or, I've actually had a client that I've been working with that has actually gone through a similar thing, but we worked on X, Y, and Z, and now she's here. And then I could question. Don't try to solve the problem or lessen the pain, but you can acknowledge and relate to them, which is just a human, compassionate thing. So we asked about the goal, and why is that important to you? Or suppose you were able to, they might say, my goal is to lose 30 pounds. Okay, so suppose you were able to lose that 30 pounds. How would that change your life? Or how would that change things for you? Why is that important to you? As you go back up to here, these are the things we want to, why is that important to you? How is that affecting them, which we looked at? Why is this goal important? Now, we've understood this. Once again, don't move on to the next stage until you've got that information, until you've got the situation, the vision, the obstacle, or whatever order that you do it in. Make sure you get the information. Make sure you get the, for example, the importance of the reason why they want that goal before you move on to the obstacle. Very important. Now we move on to the obstacle. Okay, that makes sense. And what do you feel is maybe holding you back from really getting to that insert goal? What do you really feel is holding you back from losing that 30 pounds? Is what I'd suggest if you were continuing on, or if you're going to use this as an opener, an obstacle as an opener to start the conversation. What is your biggest struggle with your health at the moment? But if we're continuing on this process, ask this question. So what do you feel is maybe holding you back from really getting to that? What do you feel is maybe holding you back from really losing that 30 pounds? And they'll tell you, well, I can't stick to diets, I binge eat on the weekends. You can also ask another question in here. Once again, I'll do the same because this is getting to the pain point once again. The pain point is that they just keep eating up their binge eating. They don't know what to eat. So you can once again, if you feel it's appropriate, ask them how that's affecting them. Do you see what we're doing here, guys? We're going deeper into the problems, going deeper into their situation, and we're going deeper into the obstacle. They're telling you the struggle is, I don't know what to eat, or I just binge eat on weekends. I completely go off my diet and lose it. That's what they're telling you. So then we go deeper. Always looking to go deeper until we fully understand, until we fully get to the real reason, the pain points, the emotion, where people are really telling themselves the truth about what's going on. Okay. Now, once again, we can acknowledge what they say, relate to them by using real situation scenarios, your own, your clients. Acknowledge. When I do this, guys, that means you're sending two messages, one after the other. So here you would wait for a response, but when I put in the send aspect, send this, and then immediately send the next question, the question underneath it. Makes sense? So here we're waiting for them to respond. Here, this is two messages. Send the first one and then immediately send the second one without waiting for a response. Okay, now this is where you do a wrap. I like to do wraps, guys, because it makes you make sure that you understand and that they feel heard and understood, and they can also add in anything else. So I just want to make sure that I fully understand. So you're wanting to insert what they want, lose 30 pounds, so that you can insert what they said they want, which is their vision. But at the moment, you're put in the obstacle, binge eating on weekends, not motivated to train. Is that right? So you're wanting to goal so that you can insert the reason why they want that goal. But at the moment, you're currently experiencing obstacle, obstacle, obstacle. Is that right? You can also put in, did I miss anything there? Yes, that's right. Now, you make sure that you understand the situation. They know that you understand the situation. Commitment. So we've got the three things. Now we move on to number 4, the commitment. Okay, I understand. So how committed are you, 1 to 10, in overcoming the obstacle and getting to goal so that you can have what they said they want? In the sales marketing world, guys, business world, there's a thing called the hot button. And the hot button is essentially telling people back to them, reminding them of what they want, or reminding them what they told you that they want. And the more that you keep pushing that hot button, repeating back to them what they said they want, repeating back to them. So, for example, they want to lose 30 pounds so that they can look amazing on their wedding day in 4 months' time. Keep reminding them that that's what they want. People lose attention really quick. So just keep reminding them that that's what they've said they want. Okay, so how important is it to you to overcome this binge eating on the weekends and having no motivation to train or to do activity so that you can lose that 30 pounds and look amazing on your wedding day? How important is it to you? Or how committed are you? 10. If they don't say 10, ask why they don't say 10. If they say like 8 or 9, just be like, okay, and can I just ask like 1 out of 10? Or why 8 or 9? And then repeat. If they give you a 10 or a high answer, move on to the next thing. Keep moving on to the next thing when we've got the answers. Help. So is this something you feel you could use some help with, or something that you want to do on your own? You're just asking if they want help. If they say no, or make some reasoning why, or some type of excuses or dribble with it, move it towards a resource. Most likely not ready. If they say yes, I could use some help, invite them to a call, proceed to this. Okay, so would it make sense to jump on a quick 10 or 15 minute call so I can hear a little bit more about your situation, your goals, and to see if there's a possibility that I might be able to help? Send, immediately send the next message. PS, nothing to say on this call. If no, if they make excuses, once again, move them towards a resource or nurturing. If they say yes, great, would you have 10 to 15 minutes now? If you have space now, I recommend doing the call as soon as possible, straight away. Real time is the best. That's been my experience. So if you have time, or you can make time to take a call, if this is a real-time conversation, to take that call straight away, I recommend that you do so. Keeps it going. So send that message first, then hit send, and then hit that message. Because you want to lead them towards this first, if you can. So great, would you have 10 to 15 minutes now? Send it, and then immediately send without waiting for their response. Otherwise, we can find a time that works tomorrow, or insert the next day, insert another day. If they say, don't have time now, but another time tomorrow would suit, offer them 2 times. Okay, would 11 a.m. or 3 p.m. I've got 11 a.m. or 3 p.m., which would work best for you. Now, once you've booked in, book them in as soon as possible, really. Once they are booked in, just if it's a longer one, if you need to do like a few days away, confirm 24 hours out. Hey, just confirming our call today or tomorrow at insert time. If it's a shorter time, like it's the next day or 2 days, confirm about 2 to 8 hours out with this message. Hey, just confirming our call today at 3 p.m. And then when you're jumping on the call, or just before, hopping on the call now. See you shortly. That's the script, guys. Once again, it's a science and an art. Make sure you get these 3 things. It's important to get how it's affected them, why it's important, and why they're not there now. What's the obstacle? Then move towards 4, 5, 6. If anywhere along the way it's not flowing, nurture. If something's not flowing, you're not flowing, and it doesn't feel like they're giving you a lot of answers, and quick trying to move it towards a call and just see how you can add value in another way. Offer them some resources, check back in with them. But if it is flowing, this is the script to discover what you need to invite them to a call.